Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. It's freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer. My name is Donald Patak. There's my contact information, standard YouTube copyright, and my name. The keys to the reading. I read constellational astrology, which, to make it plain and simple, is astrology by the visible sky. The astrology many people are familiar with, tropical astrology, fixes the signs to seasons the way they were back in 220-ish AD. That's not the way the sky looks now. I'm reading astrology by the way the sky looks now. So, astrology by the visible sky. I'm using the natural sizes of the constellations because they are by all over the place. I'm a bit of an amateur astronomer. So, like Virgo is just under 49 degrees, Aries is barely 25. I mean, the constellations are all different sizes. And so I let it be that way. I use Athens Chimente's astrological midpoints. In his explorations, he discovered that the IU boundaries were arbitrarily drawn, and there were stars from one constellation in another constellation. And he thought, nope, not the way it's supposed to work. He came up using geometry in the zodiac belt. He came up with midpoints, and I like them, so I use the midpoint system. And I use 13 signs. In ancient times, there was a 13th sign. The missing sign is called a fucus. It is actually there in the zodiac belt if you do look using an astronomer's lens. It's a symbol of a man holding a snake by the head and the tail. Snake in ancient times symbolized knowledge. So holding it by the head and the tail, control of knowledge or use of knowledge. It's a sign of the wounded healer. It's where you're learning the knowledge to heal yourself so you can heal others with similar wounds. This is the weekly edition. So these are the universal lessons for all your fellow Earth travelers. So have a little compassion on each other, please. I interpret using evolutionary astrology, which says these are lessons to learn. You have freedom of choice. You're fated to face these opportunities or these aspects, whatever you want to call them. However, you can choose the high road, you can choose the low road. Your choice. So the universe respects that. My dates are based on the Eastern US time zone. I am using within 1 degree of exact, which is why the dates are so short in some cases. I could go wider than that, then I get overwhelmed and you'll be lost. So just keeping it simple there. And the software I use is Capricorn, but for my astrology is Capricorn by Prometheus. Pull this up. This is the weekly transits for the week of January 6th through 12th, 2025. We have the sun in Sagittarius. Learn to have faith and trust in yourself. The moon is in Pisces through Gemini. So it's actually relatively stable all week. It's a nice, a couple days in Gemini or in Pisces, day or a little over a day in Aries, nice couple of days in Taurus, and it finishes the week in Gemini. So it's a very steady, stable moon, honestly. We do have the first quarter moon in Pisces, which I'll be talking about. Sign changes this week, two of them, Mercury and Mars. So we begin with the sign change, we end with the sign change. Our active planets, Mercury, Sun, and Mars, and the big mover actually of the week is Mercury. A lot of Mercury energy. Be open-minded, willing to learn, willing to listen and communicate. Very important. In the outer planets, it's Neptune, number one, followed by Pluto with the nodes of the moon. Technically, the nodes of the moon are inner planets, fall in the inner planet realm. However, they take 18.6 years to do their orbit, which makes them faster than Jupiter and slower than Saturn. So I kind of put them with the outer planets just because of the timing. So power transits of the week. Mars and Pluto finishing up some aspects with the nodes and working with them. And we also have Mars and Uranus, however you want to pronounce it. So courage and individuality there. And finally, retrograde or planets in a time of reflection. Mars, reflecting on courage and assertiveness. Jupiter, are you taking the opportunities being presented to you? And Uranus, are you being your authentic self? And this is our week. And as you can see, it's actually, we got those long transits of Pluto with the nodes. So we do have some endings at the beginning of the week. Let me get my pencil here. So we do have some endings. We do have those longs. Our busy time is actually going to be the middle of the week, late Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. And then the weekend kind of slows down a little bit, which is nice. We get the moon in Gemini on Saturday, so you know, good time to be up and have energy, honestly. Um, and we do have. Let me just clear that out. And like I did say, we do have Mercury entering Sagittarius at the beginning of the week, and we do have Mars entering Gemini at the end of the week. So having you learn to have faith and trust in your ability to learn and communicate, and then reflecting on your being open-minded. Do you have the strength to be? So let me close that out. Get my notes ready here really quick. We begin with with Pluto in Capricorn with that T square, not the T square, with its trine sextile. So we have Pluto and Capricorn sextiling. This is an excitement or an interest. The North Node in Pisces, ever slowly making that, closing that distance. And Pluto in Capricorn is doing the work of transformation. Keep it simple. The North Node in Pisces, intention right now is learning to be present in this moment. So as you're doing this transformational work, are you paying attention to where you actually are? Or are you off in fantasy land? So transformation happens actually best by doing the work each day and being present in it. So if you can keep yourself in the here and the now, great. However, Pluto can be kind of cynical, and in Capricorn can become a control freak. That's a bad mix right there. And then not Neptune, I'm sorry. The North Node can be ignoring your purposes, ignoring life's intentions, and in Pisces can fall into fantasy, delusion, escapism. So be careful of being bitter and cynical about your efforts and becoming lost in meaningless pursuits. It's really easy to get distracted and chase the wrong rabbit hole here. So that for me is Pluto sextiling the North Node, and it's in a trine to the South Node, which we will cover shortly. We do have Mars retrograde in Cancer trining the North Node in here we go. That's right. They're out of order on my notes here. Trining the North Node in Pisces. So Mars in Cancer is having the courage to reflect on, are you taking care of yourself? And that is something that can be challenging, and it's a strength. When you're in turbulence and that mask falls down, you got to put it on yourself. So you have to take care of yourself first. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to be useless to everyone else. So this is reflecting, are you taking care of yourself? And North Node in Pisces, the intention, being present with that. It's a good thing with the North Node to know where it is in your birth chart so that you know what the journey is that the North Node is taking. Because the North Node is a life's intention and a life's purpose. So right now, as it relates to your life purpose, is being present with that. So what do I have here? Have the strength to work with your life's purpose. See how being present with it can be healing or nurturing. Reflect on how achieving that purpose can be nurturing for yourself. If you're not working on yourself, why bother? You're here to make your life better, and you better. We have Pluto trining the South Node. There we go. And again, Pluto doing the work and Capricorn doing the work of transformation. The South Node in Virgo. South Node is making you aware of past patterns and past habits that hold you back. And in Virgo, it's perfection and unrealistic expectations. So this trine here is you being aware of how these unrealistic expectations and perfection are just holding you back. And ideally, you're learning what the phrase good enough is. 2 + 2 is 4, great. But X + Y = 4 opens the doors just a little bit. So it's learning to be good enough with what you're doing and with your path of growth. Let's see, what do I have here? Beware past patterns and habits and work on making changes so they can be healed and transformed. And this will help you with your life's purpose. I like how that, the way I have that written, it ties into the North Node there. But that's, you're leaving your past, you're doing the work to leave the past behind so you can move in the future. And that's great. And we talked about Pluto being cynical and a control freak. And in the South Node in Virgo, that's over planning things. It's abandoning, abandon all hope ye who enter here. But the South Node is just ignoring your purpose, getting caught up in the way things used to be. And in Virgo, those unrealistic expectations, nothing will ever be as good as the past. So this can be a very defeatist and cynical mindset. And let's see. Falling into the rut and believing that you can't change leads to dogmatism, rigid beliefs about yourself, what you're capable of. It can narrow your perspective and have you feeling bad about yourself, cynical, and have you reliving the past needlessly. So this, if falling into that shadow can have you just falling into this cycle of repeating the past. And when you tie that North Node in with there, it gets very delusional, falling into these fantasies that somehow the past was better than it really was. Nope. I actually had those dates figured out. I must not have put them in. Oops. At least I didn't put them in there. January 4th from Saturday. Yeah, the moon entered Pisces. Moon, your emotional self, Pisces. Where is this? Yeah. Seeking a vision for yourself, just being open and learning to calm down, chill out emotionally, and seek a vision. And it's going to be conjunct Neptune, inspiration, the Pluto, or not, the North Node, which is your life's purpose. Eventually, it will cross Chiron, emotional healing. So, yeah. But be open to a fresh vision at this time. Take the time to relax, be in the moment, look for opportunities for spiritual growth. That's what Pisces is very much about. You could say Pisces is spiritual growth. The shadow of the moon, moodiness. And falling into Pisces, fantasies, delusions. You're in a bad mood because this person ticked you off, and you turning just a little comment that they said into some, blowing it out of proportion, things like that. Pisces can also be about withdrawing from the world and escapism. So withdrawing from the world and shutting everything down, trying to escape reality way can have you numb, missing the point and purpose of life at this moment, and missing opportunities for inspiration. And Sunday, we have Mercury in Ophiuchus squaring Neptune and Pisces, and Mercury will jump into Sagittarius for a little bit of this. So Mercury in Ophiuchus is learning to heal, and I will talk a little bit about Mercury as it steps into Sagittarius next. But learning to heal, and Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, it's about, you call it spiritual healing, you could, Mercury, learn to heal, and being present. But Mercury and Neptune, learning to be in the moment, learning to be present spiritually. I kind of like that, but learn how healing your wounds can help you being spiritually present and heal those spiritual wounds as well. Be open to learning about healing, especially from a spiritual perspective. It can be challenging to release old ideas. However, the resulting lessons can be strengthening. The purpose of a square is to strengthen you. So anytime you see square, you're thinking challenge, but know that it's a challenge that you can learn from and grow and succeed at. The fantasy here, or the shadow here, is Mercury can be this know-it-all or someone who thinks they can't learn. And Ophiuchus is using knowledge to not heal or refusing to heal, or using that knowledge to wound yourself and wound other people. And Neptune in Pisces is mass delusion. I think that's the best way to say it. It's Fantasyland on steroids. So my notes here say refusing to heal for any reason has you caught up in a fantasy that can crush you. This is the shadow of this square. It can strengthen you, or you can be crushed by the pressures. So it's crushing yourself, injuring yourself. Using knowledge to hurt others could come crashing down as the fantasy fails and leaves you in a cold and empty reality. Ooh, what did you do to your ear there, girl? It's okay. I have Kid on my lap. The cats have been fighting lately. Not good. So there we go. That's where we kind of start the week. And Monday, Mercury enters Sagittarius. Mercury, learning communication. Sagittarius, shoot that arrow off. Let's go explore. It's learning to have faith and trust in your ability to learn and communicate. And just to jump back, and when you have that challenge working with Neptune, learning, spiritual learning, spiritual growth, the challenge of spiritual growth, and leaving old practices behind and new one and embracing new ones. But open your mind and senses up and expect a breakthrough in learning and understanding, looking for new possibilities and opportunities to learn and expand your horizons. Learn to adapt to new situations as they're presented. This is a chance for you to really grow. I was asked, what's the difference between Gemini and Sagittarius? Gemini is learning in the library to me. You're reading books about a museum, like Fort Niagara or an art museum, or you're reading books about music, whatever. You're reading books about sports. Sagittarius is getting up and actually going to Fort Niagara. Sagittarius is getting up and going to the like Letchworth State Park or one of those grand parks and exploring it, or learning how to do the art, actually learning how to paint like Monet or whoever you happen to like. It's actually getting up, going out in the world and doing and developing those abilities and developing that faith and trust in yourself. So that's that little distinction that I like to make there. The shadow here, Mercury can be one who either knows it all or can't learn it all. So it's shutting down learning for whatever reason. And the shadow of Sagittarius is either overconfidence, better than you think you are, or underconfident, doubting your own abilities. And that can lead to poor decisions, foolish errors, and just a big mess, a very public mess at that. But getting stuck in defensiveness or rigidity of thought leads to a crisis of confidence and inability to learn or communicate from others. This can lead to insensitive comments, foolish errors, and just like a big mess. So there you go. We have the first quarter moon in Pisces, which is the sun in Sagittarius, learning to have faith and trust in yourself. And the moon is in in Sagittarius. The moon is in Pisces. So emotionally, you're seeking a vision. Do you trust yourself to accept that vision? The other thing I had earlier today when I was thinking about this was the sun is stepping out and exploring and dreaming big, and the moon in Pisces is saying, go bigger. The challenge of higher inspiration and dreaming bigger than you ever have dreamed before. So another way of looking at it, and I put the notes here as well, accept the challenge of being emotionally present in your experiences. Often when we get caught up in the future or the past, learning to be emotionally present in what you're doing. Being present can help you experience them at a higher level, build more confidence in yourself, and really experiencing what is being offered to you. And this, remember, we're in a square. Squares are challenges designed to strengthen you. So you work through this challenge, you can really find higher inspiration. The shadow, crushing, that's what squares do. They become crushing weights. And it's over and under confidence in your identity and who you think you are. And the moon just being emotionally delusional. That's a recipe for disaster. Falling into fantasy can lead to a crisis of confidence and doubt about what your abilities are, and can lead to poor decisions, denial of responsibility, trying to hide away from it. So you can make some very bad decisions here and wind up having a big mess. Tuesday, Mercury is squaring the North Node in Pisces. So, like I said, we did talk about Mercury in Sagittarius having the confidence to learn and communicate. North Node being present with your life's purpose and what it is at this time, and how you can learn to work with it. And hello, one of my cats is crying. I think it's Tuxedo. Yeah, that's Tuxedo feeling alone. Sorry about the distraction. So, ability to learn to be present with your purpose and the challenge of that and facing that challenge. And again, if there's a transit for the week, it's the square. Going to face a lot of challenges, but by the end of this week, if you work through them properly, you will be a stronger version of yourself. So curiosity is challenged by being present with your purpose in life. Check to see what you're learning is serving your higher purpose, and if not, let it go. Very important here. Be willing to listen to teachers. Those are on similar paths as they can help you to learn. So pay attention to who your teachers are. Who are you working with? What can you learn from them? The best teachers are great students. The best students also are good teachers, and they can help teach your people learn. The shadow here, again, we said the square is crushing. Over or underconfidence in your ability to learn and communicate, and the North Node is denying your purpose or falling into fantasy about it. Let's see. Being over or underconfident in your knowledge can lead you to living a lie about your actual achievements and actual growth in your life's purpose. Possible to make simple mistakes that escalate into major disasters. So be careful with this. And we're going to be in a T square. I'll point that out next in the upcoming slides. Mercury is going to be in a T square. So be advised. We have Sun and Sagittarius squaring Chiron. Sun, your core identity. Sagittarius, learn to have faith and trust in yourself and your abilities. And this, okay, maybe that square isn't the greatest square. Chiron and Pisces, learning to heal and release the wounds, or even being present with the wounds and understanding them so that they can be released and healed. Very important. So this is about, I would say, about healing and releasing wounds. Face the challenge of being present with your healing, and exploring new information ideas can help you rise above the past by learning from it and healing and releasing the wounds. Be open to others who want to help you succeed. I think one of the little hidden lessons of Sagittarius is success. Sagittarius likes to get up, go out, do, and try, and nothing beats success like success. Probably there's a quote, there's an adage like that, but it's very encouraging in that way. The shadow, over and under confidence in your identity, and Chiron can be refusing to heal or living in delusion, thinking that you already are healed, or creating deeper wounds in yourself. And that square is crushing, making those wounds even deeper and harder. So crisis and confidence can lead to deeper injuries for you and those around you. Pretending everything is okay is a fantasy, because it ain't. Also, stubborn pride can keep you from healing and releasing wounds. Be very careful of that. And Tuesday, we have the moon entering Aries. The moon, your emotional self, entering Aries, wanting a challenge. This Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be the intense time of the week. And Tuesday and Wednesday are going to have the moon in Aries, but it's going to be giving you the emotional courage that you need to succeed on these days. So accept the challenge of stepping out and courage to face new opportunities. Know the experience faced are designed to strengthen you. Learning to have that emotional courage, very, very important here. Now, the shadow here, the shadow of the moon is moodiness, and in Aries is fear. Fear can show up as anger, it can show up as cowardice. So this can be explosive anger or you trying to hide away. Falling into fear can lead to angry outbursts or attempts to hide. Both will weaken you, and no matter what, weaken your position. Whoops, don't want to close that window out. Wednesday, Mercury in Sagittarius squaring the South Node in Virgo. So I'll talk about that and then a little bit about the T square. So we did talk Mercury in Sagittarius, learning, having faith in your ability to learn, getting up, going out, learning, taking those actions. South Node is having you aware of past patterns and past habits that hold you back. And in Virgo, unrealistic expectations. Do relate that to your life path, very important. But learning how to leave the past behind and old ways of doing things behind us can be strengthening for you. Being aware of past patterns and attitudes towards learning can help you leave them as you face the challenges of new experiences. So that kind of actually is a summary of the T square in a little bit. So this is you facing your past. Mercury is caught between the South Node, its past, and the North Node, its future. Caught between kind of a rock and a hard place. And this can be a strengthening experience, strengthening you as you leave that past behind and move towards your life's purpose. So There's that. Shadow. And we talked about Mercury, crisis of confidence here and your ability to learn. Either you're overconfident or underconfident, which actually weakens your abilities to learn and communicate. And the South Node can fall deeper into those old habits. And in Virgo, it can be perfectionism and unrealistic expectations. So getting stuck trying to control events can leave you feeling pessimistic and frustrated. It also limits the possibilities for growth and keep you caught in what is no longer serving you. And so this is, if you get caught in that, this is where that T square just crushes in on you. Xena was somebody I did a reading for, and she was looking at that. It looked like a guy trying to pick up a barbell, and we all see those videos of those, the guys without, doing barbells with a spotter, and they get to do it a couple of times on their own. The spotter helps them put it off. We always get those guys think they don't need the spotter, and they get it up and they're holding it, and it's crushing them on their chest, and like, oh my god, help! And they flip it off and they fall. Like that's what the failed T square is. Yeah, the weight of the world crushing you down. Not where you want to be. Thursday, the moon enters Taurus. Moon, your emotions, Taurus, peace, stability, and strength. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the 3 busy, intense days of the week. And we end it off, you got the strength to get through it, you have strength to start it, get you through it, and then you finish off. And I think it's later, a little bit later. I think it's midday to later midday on Thursday. The moon enters Taurus. And so it's a peaceful ending to that. So helping you calm down. And the lesson here is learn to take a break when you need to and find a place of peace. Can help you realign emotionally, find place of strength to center yourself in. If you really want to understand the moon in Taurus, or in the sign Taurus, find the book Ferdinand in the children's section of your library, because it's about this bull. Yeah, he did his work, but when all was said and done, what did he like to do? Sit out in the field, smell the roses, and chew the cud. And they saw him how big and strong he was, and they threw him in a bull ring, and he saw all the craziness going around him. And what did he do? Sat down, chewed the cud, just watch it, and said, "Go ahead, make fools out of yourself and entertain me." So that's Taurus. That story just strikes me as being the lessons of Taurus. But this is finding that emotional peace and emotional strength. And yeah, you're gonna cross, moon will cross Uranus, so you'll learn to feel authentically, and then also be crossing over Jupiter. So emotional opportunities, are you taking them? The shadow, though, Taurus can be stubborn, it can be lazy, and it can be the bull in the china shop. So being stubborn, lazy can leave you to a prison of consistency that keeps you stuck in a rut, and that bull in a china shop can just be mindlessly destructive. So be careful. Someone's poking you with a sharp stick. Be careful how you respond. Friday, Mars retrograde or reflecting in Cancer. Are you learning to take care of yourself? Is try Neptune in Pisces. So like I said, Mars having the courage to take care of yourself. Neptune in Pisces, learning to be spiritually present. I like the way Stephen Forrest says it. Neptune in Pisces, don't just do something, sit there. It's learning to be in the presence of spirit, however you perceive it. I'm not going to tell anyone what their spiritual practices should be. That's for you to determine. But this Neptune in Pisces is learning to be present with them. And Mars in Cancer is you have the courage to nurture and take care of yourself. So are you taking care of your spiritual needs? And trine's are an easy energy to work with. So reflect on your spiritual nature and self-care and how it can serve you and help you. Have the strength to be present in it. Learn to experience the peace and serenity that can provide, and the healing as well, because let's remember, Cancer is about healing. Do you have the courage to heal? Do you have the courage to heal your spiritual wounds? Maybe, hopefully. And the shadow, Mars can fall into fear and become defensive, and Cancer, the crab with those claws, defensive and snippy. Or it can fall into fear and cowardice and crawl back into its shell and try to hide away. And Neptune in Pisces is a fantasy and escapism and delusion or denial of the spiritual self as well. So falling into fear, becoming defensive can have you living in a fantasy. It's possible to hurt yourself and others and fall in denial about how it happened, or blame others and try to live it as a lie. That's like the worst thing that can happen. And the trying becomes a slippery slope. So whichever way you decide, it happens real easy and really fast. And Saturday, the moon enters Gemini. Hey, what a perfect time to get some emotional energy. Weekends when most people are off from work, and many people are off from work and can have fun. But this is emotional energy, emotional curiosity. Great time to actually kind of one of the ways you can kind of learn something. Hey, Ghost, you can calm down, buddy. Two cats don't want me to scratch them now. Today's cat commercial is from Kit, who is sitting on my lap, and Ghost, who wants to. And Kit won't let him. So the moon, your emotional self, Gemini, curious, being open-minded. So being open enough to get up and go out and learn new things, open in communication. So open up to new ideas, information, expect surprises and opportunities to learn, always a good thing. And we talked about the moon, the shadow being emotional, and Gemini can be scatterbrained, to be kind, or shutting down learning and communication. So refusing to listen to others misses the opportunity to lead, and rational lies, rational dash lies, lies about your situation. So you really can, talk yourself into a hole here. Okay. And now Ghost is on my lap. I don't think he realizes how strong he is. Okay, buddy, come on, sit down. Can you sit down? This is Ghost. There ever was a Gemini cat, this is him. He goes everywhere. And he doesn't know, like I said, he's a ball of muscle and he doesn't know his own strength. Right up. Okay? Right there. Good. All right. So there we go. And let's go into Sunday, ending out the week. Sun in Sagittarius, trending Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Sun is your core identity and learn to have faith and trust in it. And Uranus is about you learning to be an individual and learning to be who you really are. And are you at peace with that person? Or are you finding strength in being that person? That's what the retrograde is, that reflection, reflecting on who are you really. Is this person that you're learning about who you really are? Is this person that you're being who you really are? So focus on let's see, what do I have here? Yeah. Focus on what your interests are and if they're authentic to you. Is it what you're exploring, increasing your self-confidence and your strength and peace? Learning who you really are and releasing who you are not is of the essence. So that's like you got two hands. I can scratch both of you. Kid doesn't like it when I don't scratch her when I'm scratching somebody else. So that's what's really important here. You're learning about who you are and exploring things and making sure what you're exploring is authentic to you. Okay. The shadow is falling into a false identity, overconfidence, making poor decisions, or underconfidence and making poor decisions. And Uranus can be you not being who you really are. And it can be that person that acts out just to get a reaction, or is that person who sells out and tries to fit in. That was a weird blink. So either which way, Uranus is that false identity. And you're being over or underconfident in that false identity. So collapsing into a false identity and losing your individuality can seem like the easy or lazy way out. Giving into others and denying your identity, giving into others leads to your denying your identity and becoming less of who you are, really. And like I said, that's a bad decision. And it's an easy thing to fall into. And Sunday, finally, Mars retrogrades into Gemini. And I said Mars reflection and retrograde is reflection on having courage. And Gemini is learning to be curious. Do you have the courage to really be curious about what it is you want to learn and being willing to go into that? So reflect on what you have learned and how you used and acted on it. Are you taking action on your interests? And on your communications, do you have the courage to communicate what you really think and what you really believe? Very important there. What steps could you take to be more assertive in your communication? There's a difference between being assertive and being a jerk. Being assertive has you saying what you truly believe and respecting the other person's beliefs and saying, hey, we believe differently, and that's fine, and I'm okay with it. Being the jerk is my way or the highway, or you giving in to the other person. So the shadow of Mars is fear. And like I said, that can be anger or it can be cowardice. And in Gemini, we did talk about Gemini. Gemini can be scatterbrained. They can be emotional outbursts, or it can be refusing to communicate at all. There's total shutdown, falling into fear and cowardice, and just totally shutting down, not listening, not learning, not communicating. So falling into fear can close you off to new experiences and ideas and stifle the opportunity to grow. It can lead to mindless chatter, endless mindless chatter, and unfocused mental energies, and see new information as a threat. So that's where it is. That's where Mars is at, and that's where we're ending this week. I just want to pull this out. 2025 planner. Yeah, we're still in the early days of 2025. I'll plug this a couple like this week and next week, maybe a week after. But friend Rio Larmond out of Canada makes a true sidereal planner, and it's a planner. It involves lunar cycles as well, so it's about manifestation, and there's journal prompts and everything. You can get it right away with a PDF download, or you can order it in print. And for the record, I get nothing for plugging this. I'm just doing it because I think this is a brilliant, brilliant thing that she's doing. Other planners don't have what she has. And like I say, you can download a PDF. I've seen pictures of the hard copy, the print, and it has a nice binding on it. Doesn't look like that. I could call it the cheap plastic binding. I've seen some of those, that's what people can afford. Hey, fine, deal with it. It looks like she's got nice quality metal rings and sturdy rings that allow you to open up and flatten things out. So it's a journal. It's got the lunar cycles in it. Go to linktreepriestess.press and you'll find, you'll see what she has to offer. It's an amazing opportunity. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All these are making billions of dollars off your data. You have the digital soul space. I call it the safest spiritual space on the internet, troll-free zone. Just celebrated its 3rd birthday. Happy birthday, DSS. Wonderful place to be. And it's not just about astrology. There's everything in there. So we do have astrology. We have people doing oracle decks, tarot, wide variety of spiritual practices, varying forms of paganism, Gnosticism. I thought I saw Kabbalah on there. There was talk about it. I mean, it's just, and there are no experts. Everybody is just offering their ideas, and it's a great spiritual discussion board. It's amazing. Site reminder. Let me escape from there and jump here. There we go. And I'm getting the website cleaned up and fixed up. So you go to the website. And the keys, if you want to see how your chart changes, do the quick 6 reading. Your first set of keys is your birth chart. This is your life's purpose. This is your end goal. Past life reading tells us about the karma you came here to heal. Quick pick combines them. Second set of keys I offer are the horoscopes. And I do yearly, quarterly, monthly packages that combine that. The packages, I offer 4 different packages. You see 3 of them listed here. The 4th one is up here, the quick pick discount. If you want to order an individual reading, you can find it under services. They're all here. I didn't want to do it that way. What you get from me is you get a recording, and then I give you a code where we schedule a 1-to-1 Zoom time, And instead of using that time to listen to me talk about your chart, you've already heard me. You've got the questions. You can use that time to get a deeper understanding, clarifications. So all of them are available. If you're interested in the packages, that's on the scheduling page. And our first meeting will just be the way you want things done and how I'm going to deliver it. If you click on subscribe, come on, be nice. It's for my weekly newsletter, summary major astrological events and insights, exclusive discounts, live appearances and events. All I need is an email address. It's once a week. If you click on blog, that's where you get the weekly forecasts. And with my new career and the time available, I'm learning to get back into the time. I'm getting back to posting the weekly forecast and working on a daily deep dive. I may get back into doing a daily horoscope. So with this new career, ideally, I will do the weekly and the deep dive, and hopefully, like I say, hopefully I can get back into doing the daily. I'm also going to be offering, I'll do a separate video on this, open office hours where you can ask me those deep burning questions, and you'll do that through the here slideshow, current slide. So do follow me on social media, the Digital Soul Space, covered that. Thank you. Like, follow, share. Do sign up for the newsletter. Order a reading. And let's work together. And remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Have yourself a good week. Hope to get an appointment with you and be able to work with you.